Hey y'all, we're proofing some focaccia in the oven, so I think it's a good time to voice over this mermaid drawing that I did a couple of days ago. Um, Honestly, this is the first time that I really tried to sit down and nail like a full view of my process from like doodling to the sketch to the full like coloring of the illustration. Unfortunately, I had to do a few cuts just because my camera's older and it likes to overheat, and also the battery doesn't last too long. So, like, if I've only ever used it as like maximum 2 minute clips, so when I was setting it up to take like 30-minute long clips, it kind of like it threw a fit. But I think it worked out. It's not too bad. It actually captured, I think I would say like 80% of the process from start to finish. So um, I'm not too mad. She works and she does her work well. um, I honestly, like, I haven't really painted or illustrated in like full color in a while. Um, but I wanted to kind of get back to it, but I'm not really trying to force myself into it. I wanted to paint a mermaid just because I've been in a fishy mood. I actually came home on Thursday to a crime scene. Our goldfish had like jumped out of his tank. Um, and we had no idea he could do it because he was pretty old for like a domestic goldfish. Mans was like 7, and I came home and his tank was empty, and I looked around and he was like 3 feet away from his tank. So it was kind of tragic, but his passing and my subsequent mental breakdown afterwards kind of has put me in like a deep sea mermaid fish ocean kind of artistic mood. So that's where she came from. And honestly, if you looked at the sketch on the post-it, she originally was supposed to be a lot thinner, but I remembered one of those Tumblr text posts. I was like, if mermaids were actually real, they would need to be quite like fat, the way like walruses and like whales are, so that they could survive in the cold under the water. And so that's how she ended up being. And I think it's nice. Like, I myself am a fat woman, so it's like cool to kind of represent my body in my artwork, because most of the time, like, we tend to skew towards our references, and a lot of our references are like straight sized men and women who are set as models. And that's also nice, and I still do that as well, but I kind of wanted to give myself a little bit of a change in this case. So I got me a nice and beautiful lush mermaid with a fish. Well, the fish friend turned into a jellyfish. I just kind of wanted to retranslate. Like, I kind of wanted the thing that she was interacting with to also be super flowy, the way her tail and hair is. I based her off of this pink beta fish. I didn't want it to be like in the sketch it's the old school like typical mermaid iconography with the forked tail, but I wanted to do something more flowy. So I found this beta fish. It's like light pink, and I was like, okay, we're gonna roll with that. It's the only thing is it turned out a little bit more blue and purple with the added like shading and stuff, but I'm not mad at it. I think it gave it dimension, and I still have to practice with colors so that I can like figure out how to like shade and highlight better. I'm really not trying to pressure myself into making anything like super perfect. It's been a while, and I think just giving myself time to paint and just like put whatever's on my mind on paper, it kind of helps me get out of this rut that I kind of put myself in. Not everyone's art block comes from the same place. But I think for me, my art block came from really just like putting pressure on myself to succeed as an artist, with whatever succeed means. But I even when I was going to school for art, everyone had really like beautiful sketchbooks, and like the compositions were so like immaculate, and I used to like beat myself up for actually using a sketchbook as like more like a scratch paper, and like just scrawling whatever notes and like doodling random things without like care in the world for how pretty it looked laid down on a page. And I doubt that everyone's I doubt that even the prettiest sketchbooks are always pretty on every page. Like I'm pretty sure those people that I admired whose sketchbooks were so like well kept had some pages that were just, like straight up sketches, or there's pages that they themselves are not super proud of. And I'm trying to tell myself now, as like in hindsight, that that's okay. And so I'm just going to put my pencil, pen, highlighter down on paper and just like do whatever, as long as I draw every day. And if I want to draw or paint something in whatever medium, I will do it in that medium. And so that's kind of like how this piece was born. It took me about like 3 hours, which, I mean, by the time I finished, it was like almost 1 a.m, or it was like clear into 1 a.m. So it wasn't too bad, and it was like a nice way to kind of give myself the space to just do whatever's in my brain, because I also don't want to like beat myself up. That was another thing about like the art block that I was giving myself, is that like I was telling myself that I wasn't creative enough. And I think creativity is like a muscle, in that if you don't work on it, it doesn't get any better. So by me blocking stuff that I wanted to paint out and saying, oh, that's not creative enough, it kind of doesn't let me, like I'm stopping myself from using my creativity, and it's kind of impeding that, the growth of that muscle. So even if it doesn't seem super original now, like I might as well just do it. And then if I like just letting it be, and like bringing whatever I'm thinking of to life, like the more I do that, then the more creative my thoughts become, and the more I'm able to like going forward make things that I would consider creative, so yeah, that's how this pink beta fish mermaid situation happened. And I think it was a good exercise. I think I'm going to keep doing it, and just really like trying to take stock of the process and what those things look like, and not really comparing myself to what I've made before, and just like pushing forward and trying to go through with it. Because I think in the case of my artwork, I'm my greatest enemy at this moment, and so I'm going to try to trust the process and follow the process, instead of think of how I'm going to get to my result the fastest. So yeah, this is that painting and that start of that journey. I did this in gouache, and then the pink under, I guess I toned the paper first in this like bright pink watercolor ink, magenta. The word's magenta. When I was going to school, we were told to tone our canvases with like a burnt orange or something, because that's how the masters in oil painting did it. But I've been trying to use pink, because one, that's my favorite color, and also why this beta fish mermaid is mostly pink. But also at the same time, I love color. It's just I have a hard time making things colorful, just because I think for me, color composition is a lot harder to think of, like brainwave wise, and so I use the bright magenta to try to force myself into thinking about color composition, instead of just like defaulting to like very basic colorways. I'm not sure it's like super successful, but I think it's an okay start for me, especially for someone who isn't that, like, I really don't have much education, and I don't know how to like compose colors well, and I kind of just take color palettes from other people that I see and their artwork that inspire me, but like I'm trying to also get myself to think more in color than out of it. So yeah, I I painted this in gouache. 100% don't think I used gouache correctly, but it's I think it's fine. Like it worked out well. Um, a lot of people say when you're painting with gouache, you should always mix the color that you want beforehand in enough quantity that you could like continue to use it without having to mix it again, because when gouache dries down, like you can't get the same color twice, and I definitely don't do that. I kind of just start painting, and I'd like to think it's impressionistic, but also at the same time I don't know, I like the way the colors mix on the page, and it's fun to see it kind of like transform. And I know that a lot of people say that gouache is hard because it doesn't dry the color that it goes down. Like if you put it down, it dries darker, I think is what they say. And that's definitely kind of tricky, but that's also why I don't like ceramics, because the glaze does that as well. But I think I honestly, with any medium, you kind of just have to start like using it and seeing if you like the results of it, and if you do, you'll just kind of start picking up on what works for that medium and what doesn't work. So in this case, the gouache, I just kind of I loved the way it looked on other people's paintings, so I kind of just like crash course like bought. This is the Hemi set, the really big one. I bought it because I was like, okay, it's on sale, let me buy it, and then just started painting with it. And honestly, I really like how it like the colors are vibrant, and like I love the way that it's matte and it doesn't like reflect light off of it the way we're used to with other paints. And I don't know, the results are just so pretty to me that I was like, I'm chill if this is how it is, and it's if it doesn't come out the way I want it to, maybe that's just the consequence of like making the art. Honestly, listening to this now and listening to myself talk, it kind of sounds a little bit like half laziness, but also like half just letting the material be the material. Maybe if I went to art school, I would like, maybe I would give more of a crap about it, but at the end of the day, I think like whatever medium you choose it for your own reasons, and in this case, gouache just it works well enough and it looks nice enough that I'm not mad if it doesn't like 100% come out the way I want it to. But the more I practice with it, I think it'll start looking more the way I want it. Like in this case, like this mermaid actually turned out a lot more like what I visualized in my head than a lot of my other pieces. So that's why I'm not mad at this at all, or like mad at the material at all, because it's kind of how I envision things going in my brain, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is the piece. It's coming towards an end now. I don't know. Any takeaways from this? Honestly, I had a lot of fun making this, and like it was the kind of fun that like you want to just keep going and you don't want to stop kind of fun. And it's been so long since art has felt like that I'm tempted to kind of be like, oh, this is it, this is like the end of the road for me, like it won't get any better than this. But I'm really trying not to stay stuck on that kind of mindset, because I know like the complacency that leads to, and I don't want to go back to that. Like, I really want to keep developing and keep like exploring, because I used to have such a thirst for art, and like art was, I would always say, was my first love, and like I wouldn't ever like, ew, I forgot I made that shadow. It's kind of gross. But yeah, I would never want to like, I would never want to go back to like not being able to draw, because I made myself hate art like that, you know? Like, I want to always just continue making work that gives me the same amount of joy as it did to make this piece. So honestly, whatever I put down, I put down. And I'm not going to pressure myself to do it if I can't make it. So yeah, this is my mermaid. I don't know if I can really keep talking about anything else outside of this, but yeah, I have the whole, it's not fully done, I'm still like adding stuff to it, but I have a few other pieces inside this watercolor sketchbook that are painted also in gouache. If you guys are curious to see, maybe I could do a tour of that sketchbook. It's obviously still in like progress. It's not like I'm completely done with it, but if you guys want to have a tour of that, I can also run you through the whole thing, because I actually really liked it. Like, I started gouache on a whim, and how it's developed in my like repertoire. I say repertoire as if I'm like 100% unofficial gouache artist, but just the way it's developed in like my arsenal of like tools and mediums, I don't know, I just really liked the progress, and it's been super fun learning how to paint like this. I've always hated watercolors, and so when someone says it's like opaque watercolors, I was kind of like unsure about it, but yeah, I love this medium, and it's so much fun to like learn and to use that I really don't mind. It's you know what it is? It's because it's like, it's painting, but it feels like drawing with the paint, and I've always been more comfortable with drawing more so than painting. So that's why I love this medium so much. Anyway, that's all to say that I'll probably do a tour of that gouache sketchbook, and I'll show you all what's in there, so that you can see what's happening in there. But yeah, this is about to finish. Now looking back at this, I don't know if this is the correct blue I should have gone for. Maybe I should have gone closer to the blue of the outlines around her, but again, not gonna fault myself. Maybe I just need more practice in the art, like the color composition realm. But other than that, like, I am really proud of how this came out. So I'll let on-screen me just finish this off in 5 times speed, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, listening to me ramble a little bit about my art block and my fish, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!